What? Reload the thing. Reload the thing. That's funny. Sorry, that's funny. Go on.
What is good, folks? It's your boy here, Jordan Mullen, you also known as Just Small, and today we're going to be getting into the topic of, well, probably the biggest story in the news and in the world right now, and that is the attempt from these big clubs, as they're more famously known as the Big Six in UK football scene here, and also the whole thing with the European Super League. Now, I myself, I am a Chelsea Football Club fan. I'm going to be 100% honest. Over the last few years, I have fallen out of love for football. I don't watch football on a regular basis anymore, even though Chelsea have been doing fairly well here and there and found some success. But I just don't find any enjoyment in football anymore. I just don't really enjoy watching it much. Really, I mean, it's just, I love playing football and I love the sport with all my heart and soul, but I just don't enjoy it as much as I used to. Growing up, I never did dream of becoming a professional football player. Never did. And I'll literally get into why that was. Basically, when I was about 6 or 7, of course, I loved football. I loved playing it. Bounced from team to team because, well, I was a young lad and I didn't know much about football then. But then, when I got to a certain age, and it was around the era of Jose Mourinho, his first stint with Chelsea, or it was just before that, I actually fell in love with Chelsea, and I loved the style of their play, and I loved the players that they had, King Didier Drogba, and a whole plethora of others. But, you had your Frank Lampards, your John Terrys, and they had a great team, and when I just loved their style of football, I loved the way they played, and that's why I supported them. I think I started off as a kid with a Manchester United shirt because my mum is a big Manchester United fan, as is my little brother. But I kind of slowly found my way becoming a fan of Chelsea. My dad is a Liverpool fan, and my granddad's a Manchester City fan. So as you can imagine, my household is very, very entertaining if the football's on and we're all together watching the games. I mean, you should see what the family's like when Manchester United go up against City, or Liverpool go up against United, or City, or United lose, or Liverpool lose. My granddad's always on, and my brother and my dad just going, "Oi, dickheads," That's the kind of rivalry you have in football, and it's funny, it's entertaining to watch, because that's just how it was. This is how it is. There's always a lovely bit of rivalry there with football, because football, at the end of the day, it's run by its supporters, and to be honest, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'd rather watch Barrow. I'd rather watch my home club team. Even though I'm a Chelsea fan, I'd rather watch Barrow play, and I've become more of an more of an intense Barrow fan over the last couple of years, as Barrow have been playing some great football, been getting in some great players, great coaches, and I've been really impressed with how much they have grown, and currently in League Two, in the Football League, being like roughly 50 years it took them to get back into the Football League, and seeing them there for the first time in my life is just so amazing. And going on FIFA and seeing them there on FIFA, and you can play as them. You've got all the players there. It's an incredible feeling that your hometown club is in FIFA. It's such an amazing feeling to have. When really people did think that we were going to do very well this season. We didn't start off great, but then eventually we kept going from manager to manager. We lost a great manager in Everett, which was a huge blow to us. He ended up going to Bolton, which was heartbreaking for us. We loved him. He did so much for us to get us back into the Football League, and it was heartbreaking. And it was just awful for us. We got in David Dunn. It didn't work out very well. He had to go. We brought in another manager. It wasn't going great. We were winning a couple games here and there, and then losing big, and then losing a fair few, and then winning a couple, then losing a few, or drawing, and it just wasn't looking good. And now Kelly taking the helm, he's done incredibly well, and I believe we're currently sat in 15th place in League Two. We are completely and utterly safe at this time. At this moment in time, there's at least about 4 or 5 games left, and it's looking more than promising that Barrow are going to stay into the Football League and stay in League Two for next season, which would be absolutely humongous for this town and be humongous for the club. To have us still remaining in the Football League, that would be huge. So I've not had the chance and opportunity yet to go and watch my boys play, live at the stadium, because I work at my local Asda store, and literally right across there's a little pond or like little lake type thing. You go right across it, and there is the Progression Solicitor Stadium, Barrow Stadium. That is where it is. It's right across the road from my work, and I can't go in. I can't. It's excruciating that we can't go in to watch a game right now. Like I've been meaning to go and watch Barrow over the last couple of years, and I've never gotten around to it. Just been working. But I'm dying. I can't wait for fans to be allowed back into stadiums, and I'm going to watch the hell out of them. I'm going to scream my head off and cheer my boys on. Even though when I'm playing on FIFA, their ratings are so bad that I eventually rage and say that the shit. It's because on the game, their ratings are so bad to what they actually are in real life. They were done dirty on FIFA. And literally, I think there's a few of them that are like 56, 57 overall. I'm like, Jesus Christ, FIFA, come off it. But they're still on the game, and I bet I actually remember selling and serving one of our key players, Scott Quigley, who is one of our strikers. He actually came to my checkout and he wanted the new FIFA, and I realised it was him, and I think he was with a couple of the other lads. I think they came in from after a training session. Or I believe it was after a training session, and he literally came in, and I had already played as a career series, and I literally said to him, "Why are you so shit on the game?" We had a bit of a joke about it, saying that you're all having a mare, you're all rated low, and we're just having a simple civil conversation, and it was nice to be able to talk to some of our own club lads. It was amazing. It's a very family-based club, and you don't realise that until you actually speak to those lads and you get to meet them. They come into our place, they come into Asda quite regularly, to be honest. They come in, I would say, about 3-4 times a month. And it's always great to see them. I have actually served one of the physios quite a lot as well. He comes in and gets a lot of ice. He gets like 20 packs of ice. I remember the last time I served him, I think it was last week, and I said, Jesus Christ, that's one hell of an ice bath. He said, trust me, it's not me getting in it. So, unfortunate for the rest of the boys. But now we're going to get into why I really didn't focus on football much as a lad, as a young lad. Um, I had different things. I had different things that I did, and those were, well, performing arts. I fell in love with acting from the age of about 6, 7 years of age. I believe we went to go watch a West End production. Um, yeah, so I think we went there, and it was amazing. It really, really was fantastic, and it was just genuinely nice to do that. And I can't remember what we went to watch. I really can't remember for the life of me. I keep thinking it's Singing in the Rain. It was so I can't remember what we went to watch, but it was amazing to watch it. And I fell in love with the lights, the glamour and the music and just everything. Because I remember saying to my mum as a young boy, saying I want to do whatever it is that they're doing because it seems like fun. And then my mum said, "You want to be an actor?" I said, "Yes, whatever it is they're doing, I want to do it." And I think when I got to about 9, 10, I went to go watch my sister. She was in a local production, um, a local theatre production um, with a drama club called A590 Youth Theatre. And she did Peter Pan. To those of you that do not know, I've got two sisters and one brother. Of course, you've seen Brennan already. So when I went to go watch it, I said, "Yeah, I'm definitely certain. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do that." And so the year after, well, in the September of that year, I ended up going to A590 Youth Theatre, and I then the year after, it was around April time, I did my first ever performance. I did my first ever show, and that was Pandemonium. Basically, a musical performance, a musical of the story of Pandora's box, and the chaos it unleashes when it's accidentally opened. So yeah, that was. I played the role of Dionysus, the god of wine, and still to this day, it's quite surreal when I look back. I remember waking up the next day after the first show and seeing me in the newspaper and seeing one of my jokes that I said, which was one of my lines, was in the newspaper, and I was like, "Well, that's mad." It's a local newspaper here in the northwest called the Evening Mail. Don't get it. So yeah, that is really to why I never really got into football as a kid. I mean, I still loved football. I still loved watching it. I was always mental when it came to international football, and I always got crazy around World Cup time, especially World Cup time. But of course, I went a bit doolally for the Euros too. But for me, it was the World Cup. I went absolutely mental. I grew up in the days of David Beckham and everybody. That was the time to be alive for international football. I mean, some of the players that we've got now, we've got some talented lads we've got now, and even the women's England team are very, very talented, and they've done very, very well. They've been rather successful over the last few years, so it's pretty damn great for them. Actually, one lass is from Barrow that plays for England, and her name's Georgia Stanway. So she's doing incredibly well for herself. And I've actually watched some of her game for Manchester City women's Manchester City team. She's actually a really, really good player. She's a fantastic player. Um, seeing someone that or like you're from your hometown. I knew Georgia a little bit. Her stepmother, I believe, taught me. She was one of my teachers, I believe, in PE at school. So it was kind of weird that. So yeah. So when it was just really weird for me that I just never really got around to actually, playing football much as a kid. I played it every now and then and had a kick about with friends, but it was just, for me, I just never really found the enjoyment in it. I didn't find, I would say, the passion to carry on playing it. I wouldn't say the passion to actually, watch it, because I was still a big football fan in a manner of sense. But I was still a fan of football, and I still enjoy watching my teams. As well, I enjoyed watching Chelsea, and I enjoyed watching England. And then, of course, as the years went on, I enjoyed starting to see Barrow highlights from games as he started to get some really good players in. One of my greatest memories is going to Wembley with it was for Barrow, and I believe like literally near enough the entirety of Barrow, or half the population of Barrow, was in Wembley that day when we won the FA Trophy up against Stevenage, and that was a big game. We had some great players, and we had like Jason Walker and everyone. It was, oh, what a team that was! Um, no, I think that was in 2010, I believe, and that was when I used to help out at the study centre they used to have, and I actually got to meet some of the lads the day, a day or two after. I think it was the day after, and when I was helping out in the study centre for Barrow. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. We were helping the students at school, basically, to those with well, some issues that wouldn't allow them to succeed very well in school. The environment of a classroom, it didn't do well for them, and they were studying with coursework and classwork, etc. And that's why the study centre was there. That got discontinued quite some time ago, which was heartbreaking, because I actually enjoyed my time there, and I actually wanted to work there. But overall, it's just one of them ones, really, where it didn't work out. But I was about 14, 15, 16. How old was I? It was 2010, so I would have been about 15. 14, 15 I would have been. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So, all that aside, now we're going to talk about the European Super League and how much of an effect it's had on the sport of football right now. And I'm going to be 100% honest. It's been shit. It's been so bad for the sport of football. We always thought that football wouldn't be touched or anything like that. But for me, this whole thing is about greed. It's pure greed. It is disgusting in every way. You have all these clubs now. If you go back in the day when I was growing up watching football, there was money there, but not to the comparison to what it has now. There was still a fair bit of money there, but it was more respectable, and you weren't having to pay 50 to £100 million for a fucking player. Paying footballers 100 to about 400 grand weekly wage. I mean, that is just absolutely, it's just disgusting. NHS workers and those retail workers deserve a lot more. I will, hourly rate than that. We deserve a lot more money than what we get. But yet these footballers were getting like you go to Barrow, and I think the majority of them are barely earning like 2-3 grand a week. It might have changed now, but I doubt it. But I think a lot of them are like in between like £1,000 to £2,000 weekly wage. If I had that a week, I'd be fucking satisfied. I really would be. Having £1,000 to £2,000 every week, yeah, I could put that in my pocket. Yeah, I could save up a lot easier. So football's been changing ever since I was a young lad. When it got to around, I would say 2013, 14, that's when it started to kind of differ, and the money just started to go astronomically crazy. So for me, football, it's been massively affected. But the beauty of this is of these dickhead club owners. They were never ran by these dickhead billionaires, thinking that they're, dog's bollocks and they can get away with fucking murder. You cannot murder our sport. That's one thing you can't do. Football, as we have always said, football, this is its home. You try to take it away from its home, it's never leaving. We always keep saying when England play football's coming home. It's always been home. This is England. This is England. This is football's home. Don't bullshit about it. And every country across the globe, even the United States of America, even though they call it soccer, which is beyond me, they still have found a newfound passion for football. My cousin, Christian, plays it, and he's passionate about it and wants to go pro. And they are taking it more seriously than they ever used to about 10 years ago. They're taking it more seriously now. The reason why they're taking it more seriously is because they looked at the World Cup when I believe they were in it and gone, holy shit, this sport is more crazy than the NBA and the NFL. Yes, of course it is. Because the NBA is a great sport, it's a great, league or whatever it is, but it's nowhere near as massively adored as it is with football. American football, put that up against football, it's got nothing on it. But your stadiums might be completely different, but at the same time, you come to our stadiums, I've seen loads of videos of Americans reacting to football chants and people that go to football matches, or just Americans like witnessing what it's like to go and watch a football game, and they love the atmosphere, they love it, and the reason why they love it is because football is one of the most beautiful sports in the world, because people can go absolutely batshit crazy for someone to score an absolute banger of a goal and go, yes, kiss me, Literally, if, say, like, Didier Drogba back in the day scores the winner for the Champions League, fuck me, Didier! Like, football was so passionate, it would make you go fucking mental. You'd go mental over football. Even still, to this day, people go ridiculously crazy over it. The reason to why they go ridiculously crazy over it is because it's so loved and it's such an amazing sport. No matter what anyone tries to do with it, doesn't matter if you try and take it away from us, it will never ever leave this place. It will never ever leave the country of England. You try and take our big six clubs, which are massively vitally needed because they've got the billionaire owners. What are you doing? Like it was just pure utter greed, and it was awful to watch. It's like when they were like, "Oh, Chelsea's in this," I was heartbroken because Roman Abramovich, even though he is a multi-billionaire and he loves his money, since he took the helm of Chelsea, he fell in love with football, fell in love with it. It was because of Chelsea Football Club and because of its fans. It was why he fell in love with the sport. So it's heartbreaking that he would even think about any of this. So yeah, it's despicable. It's disgusting. And my brother, he's disgusted by it. He's a Manchester United fan. My dad's a Liverpool fan, and they're both disgusted by it. I mean, yeah, I would love to play Real Madrid. I would love to have Chelsea play PSG or Bayern Munich, Barcelona. Like have Barcelona one week and have Bayern Munich the week after. Yeah, I would love that. But that's what the Champions League's for. You don't get it every week. Also, to the matter of fact, they're not from this country. They're in a different country. I would rather have them play against each other if they have earned the right to play against each other, because sometimes the different of quality of players that you have in these teams are so massively different. Spain is all about the pace. In England, it's all about that physicality, the strength. But then there is so much pace, and people, people look at the English football leagues. You look at the Barclays Premier League. People say Spanish football league's the best in the world. No, it's not. It's really not. You've got two teams, and that's it. Possibly a third with Atletico Madrid. Other than that, that's it. You come to the UK, you've got six big clubs. Six big clubs. They are Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea. But over the last few years, you've had clubs like Leicester, Southampton. You've had clubs like Newcastle rise up the ranks, making their way back from years ago when they were crushing the football terms of things. But then they had billionaire owners come in and fuck every shit up. And Leicester, they almost got relegated. They got promoted, then nearly got relegated. Then they stayed up, and then the season after, they came back to win the league. Never has that happened before in the grand schemes of having the Big Six in the world of football in the UK. Leicester had the perfect opportunity. All the big clubs were suffering. They were hurting. They didn't have the players that they did have, say, a couple of seasons ago. Leicester took full advantage, even though their squad wasn't sensational. The reason to why they won the league was because of their team spirit. They won the league because they had a good manager with great tactics and had a team that wanted to play for their manager, that wanted to play for their club, that wanted to play for their fans because of how passionate they were. And look to what that led to them. It led them to winning the Barclays Premier League. That was the first time I literally stopped being a Chelsea fan. And I became a Leicester fan. I wanted Leicester to win the league. And I'm pretty damn certain that 90% of other football fans across the globe, especially over here in the UK, they just fell in love with Leicester and wanted them to win the league. And when they won the league, we were ecstatic for them. Because you don't get that anywhere else. You won't get that in the Spanish league. You won't get that in France or Italy or Germany. Well, you might do. I've not seen it. Very, very competitive, them folks. But us lot, we fell in love with Leicester. We fell in love with Newcastle. We fell in love with Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers, when they had a phenomenal team when Alan Shearer was there. Alan Shearer being one of the greatest strikers of all time. And he was British. And so it was just heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to have seen all these Big Six clubs. Even though I'm not a fan of these Big Six clubs, I'm a Chelsea fan, but at the same time, I'm still a football fan, and seeing them all, it wasn't the club's fault, it's the owners. These billionaire owners need to fuck off. They need to leave their post and stop using these football clubs for gaining more money. They need to stop. And it's within our power as fans of the sport that we created. You probably wouldn't think that. Football was, and the clubs were created by the fans, not by billionaire owners. They were created by people, ordinary people. That's how it all started. I understand that things need to improve in some of the aspects of the game and some of the aspects of the tournaments, etc. But it gives you no right to conjure a plan to do something so disgustingly diabolical as this. And I hope that every single club is penalised, punished. It's not just the clubs. I want the owners. These owners need to be punished. And they need to realise they can't do the shit that they tried to do. And a few of these clubs are owned by Americans. This ain't America, bruv. This is England. You can't do your shitty little tactics over here. You'll get caught out. Because look what you tried to do, you disgusting pigs. Look what you tried to do. Guess what happened? You got given the middle finger by every single football fan practically across the nation and across the globe. And a big shout out to Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich and PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, for telling these dickheads to fuck off. We ain't interested. That's not football. So those of you that don't know about what the Super League is, basically the Super League, the European Super League was going to be about 15 teams of the biggest clubs across the globe. Those teams consisted of Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal, don't know why those two are there. They haven't won anything in years. Manchester United, Liverpool, and then you've got Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona, Real Madrid, I believe maybe Atletico Madrid was in there, and a few others. And these teams would go up against each other week after week, playing, but they would never, ever, ever get relegated. They would never get relegated, and there was approximately around 300 million to go around to be splashed out. That's not football. It's not. It's not football. Football is earning the right to be in the Premier League. Football is pride and passion, love and thunder. Giving your all for the badge that you have in your chest. Literally, you're just sort of like, you're just disgusted by it. You're like, oh, like I see it all, and I'm just like, that these dickheads, these pricks, thought that they could come in and they could swipe the sport that we loved and destroy everything we knew about it and we loved about it and just destroy it. I hope that the owners are massively punished. I would like to say, I never thought I would ever literally big up a Manchester United former player or former player, but Gary Neville, bravo. I could tell that you were extremely emotional because Gary Neville, at the end of the day, he's an extremely passionate fan of football. Not only was he a phenomenal defender, a phenomenal player, he was English as well. One of the greatest English/British players and fullbacks that we've ever had and what we've ever produced. Honestly, you're just sort of like, I could tell that he got so emotional, and it was a bit heartbreaking because I was like, I'm seeing it from his point of view because he's saying all this not as just a pundit or a commentator. He's saying this as a football fan, because at the end of the day, he's still a football fan. Because he's not just a former player, he's a fan. He's a fan of football. He loved it ever since he was a kid. So yeah, it's going to be heartbreaking. And to see his beloved Manchester United being caught up in all this, finally, that things are starting to happen for Manchester United. Ed Woodward has stepped down They've got about maybe 3 or 4 more to go, I think. But I do, like, I do hope that everything's settled soon. I really, really do. But yeah, these owners from these big 6 clubs in the UK need to be dealt with and dealt with accordingly. They need some of the heftiest fines that we can ever muster. Premier League Board, UEFA, FIFA, do your fucking thing. Do it. Give it to him. Give it to him royally. Fuck him up the arse. Because they need to realise that they can't do this ever again. Because it was just beautiful to just see football fans across the nation putting aside their rivalries, putting aside their pettiness towards each other's club, to see them unite over this, to see them passionate about this, standing up for what is right, standing up and saying, fuck you lot, no. Tottenham fans protesting in the streets, protesting out of their stadium to their owner, begging him to get out. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United started to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool started to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal started to do it. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea started to do it either, because Roman's on a tightrope ever since he sacked Frank Lampard. But this is icing on the cake, really. So yeah, this is it's just so shit. It's so shit to see it all. It really, really is, folks. It's heartbreaking. It's now all clubs have all withdrawn from the European Super League, all making statements. I believe Arsenal were the first club to ever apologise, but it wasn't their owners saying that. It was the fucking club itself, because these poor buggers at the clubs, the people that work behind the scenes, the ones that don't get seen, the ones that don't get spoken about, they had no idea about this. They weren't consulted about this, because why? They were trying to fill up their own fucking pockets for more money, and it's just disgusting. We are going to be talking about this a bit more on the Mall Bros podcast, as I believe my brother will be wanting to watch it. Well, my brother will be wanting to talk about that a lot, and I'll be trying to get a few other guests to come in and talk about it as well, because it's a topic that needs to be spoken about. Because for a time for it to come around a pandemic, people have struggled so badly over it. People have lost jobs. Clubs across the nation in the lower leagues have had to take loans, have had to, furlough players and staff, just because they just didn't have enough money to pay it all off. And a lot of small clubs as well across the nation suffering, about to lose what they loved dear, and that was their own clubs. So for this to come at the time that it has done, it's just disgusting. And big up, you know, the football fans. Big up you know, the players have been fantastic, and most of the staff have been fantastic in most clubs. They've stated their opinions. Yeah. So let me know of what you all think in the comments down below regarding the European Super League. Let me know of your opinions. And also make sure you are all subscribed to the Mall Bros podcast, because we will eventually be getting on to the third episode to talk about the whole European Super League and other things. I would also like to know what you would all like us to talk about. Get in the comments section down below. I'll try and leave a link to the More Bros podcast in the description. Thank you all ever so much for watching. That is going to be it for me for now, folks. Thank you all ever so much. Make sure if you are somewhat new here, you do not hesitate to click subscribe with notice on, and then crush the like button. And I'll see you all next time. See ya. Take care. And peace.
I'm always waiting for you.